about to leave. Already packing, come with me. I'm not.
Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy for Now with what is probably my new favorite thing I'm gonna do at the end of every year, which is the wildest books I've read. That's why you're here. I know you want this list. I know you do. These books range in quality from 5-star reads to not 5-star reads. For me, a wild book is a book that I couldn't put down, maybe had some questionable content, and you know, at the very least was a fun journey, but when I finished it I went, whoa, that was wild. So in no particular order, kind of, I'm gonna go through these, and I will link to all the videos in which I talked about these books in the description box for you, because a lot of these were in vlogs and other things, and some of them weren't. Some of them just honestly surprised me at the end of the day. And yeah, these are my, I think I ended up with 9. I couldn't quite make it to 10 wild books I read this year. So first of all, we're gonna start with The Boys of Brayshaw High. This book had like no plot, kind of, beyond like these boys kind of fighting over her and her fighting them / not taking their shit. Yet somehow I read all 3 in no time. Literally, like, I blinked and I had read all 3. But I didn't love them. They were all like 2 stars. But I have to say that overall they were wild. They were a reverse harem, which is like my least favorite term, but they're not really, because honestly she doesn't really hook up with the other guys, so that is not what I would call that. And oh, I do have a 10th book. Oh, okay, anyways. I hate that term, as y'all know. But this book, these books, candy, just right into the brain. Next we have, oh, I didn't say who that was. Boys of Brayshaw High is by Megan Brandy. Next we have Necromancers Bride by Brianna Hale. I read this because Tamika just kept saying I needed to check it out. We all needed to try it. It's, you know, something else. And I regret it. I regret reading that book because, you know what? I can't stop thinking about leeches. And it honestly scarred me just a little bit. So thanks, Tamika. Thank you for scarring me. But I'm interested in, I will try some other Brianna Hales at some point besides the one book that I refused to read by her. But this was like, the craft of the story was good, but it was still a 2-star read for me because like I was so grossed out that I could not get over it. Alright, and then one that started my weird 24-hour reading vlogs trend thing that I'm doing now, I don't know what to call it, is Smashing the Pumpkin King by Holly Ween, in which it tastes like pumpkin pie. Y'all, why? And he like came out of a pumpkin? I can't. He came out of a pumpkin and manifested as an weird orange man, which is also awkward this year, let's be honest. And yeah, pumpkin pie. That one honestly though was a fun read at the very least. So like if you want a silly goofy read next Halloween, you should read it because it made me laugh. I respected what it was trying to do. It was not a stunning read, but it was funny at the very least. And then there's 2 Krampus books that I'm just gonna count as one because I just did my Krampus reading vlog that was going to be a different theme that you will actually see in the new year. But that is Creamed by Krampus and Paddled by Krampus. These books, y'all, first of all, Creamed by Krampus literally had like foursome with 3 Krampuses. What? Oh, I love weird books, guys. They're just so fun. I finished that book and I went, what? How? It's like 30 pages and I just go, how did you manage this? But there's a whole vlog with like my live reactions to reading this, and honestly, it's delightful. And then Paddled by Krampus was like a weird labyrinth retelling situation that I don't know how I feel about, but it was also kind of hilariously fun. So maybe if you want to read some Krampus erotica romance, they could be up your alley. All right, and next we have one that I honestly love with my whole heart, and that is Dark Mafia Prince by Annika Martin. I think I gave this 4 or 5 stars. I cannot remember right now off the top of my head, but I loved this book. This is one of my favorite Mafia books now. Before it was the Cressley Cole series, and then Kenya Wright's Dirty Kisses book I really, really loved, but Dark Mafia Prince made me want a hero to cut a finger off of our heroine, okay? How you do that? Like, I was literally like, yeah, take the finger. That's fine, you're redeemable, take the finger. Take her finger, let's do this. Let's commit to the scene and cut her finger off. What is wrong with me? But like, Annika Martin wrote this so well that you were literally like cheering for him to take her finger. And that's skill. Also, that's wild to be cheering for a hero to cut a limb off of a heroine. But it works. It works so well, and I cannot wait to finish this series next year. I'm still like recovering from that book in a way because it was so good. I feel like it kind of ruined me for a lot of other Mafia books because, like, again, I'm rooting for something I shouldn't be rooting for. Next we have Born Darkly by Trisha Wolfe, which I still haven't read the sequel to somehow, but this is not a category like full romance yet. I'm assuming the sequel does have an HEA, but I'm not sure. So the first book does not have an HEA at all. At all. Not even happy for now, y'all. So go in knowing that. But this follows like a serial killer that's like the Joker, and she's a psychiatrist, and it is wowza bonkers. I flew through this book. It was so good. I've tried some other serial killer romances that I didn't like, and I DNF'd because I just was bored. This was perfect because it just felt like it was action and intrigue continuously happening. So I wanted to keep reading it, and I wanted to know what was going to happen. And yeah, I honestly, Born Darkly, so good. Cannot recommend it enough. I think that is a well-hyped book that deserves the love it gets. Okay, next we have Credence by Penelope Douglas, which I read this year because I thought I wouldn't like it. And I didn't like it. I mean, it was like a 3-star. It was fine. It was mediocre. I didn't like who she ended up with at the end of the day for this one, but I also still couldn't put it down. And that alone made it very wild because like the story is her and 2 brothers and the dad. It's her uncle, kind of. And it's just like her parents killed themselves because like one of them was dying with cancer, which is like spoiler, I guess, but you might want to know that going in. And I just felt like that was like the wildest setup for a plot I've ever read. And then it just kind of goes from there, and like one of the boys is like grumpy and goes into the woods and stuff. Is it 3 boys or 2 boys? I don't remember. I think it's 3 sons. Anyways, it's her, it's like literally her between these 4 guys, and they have to like, they're kind of fighting about her but not. And yeah, I didn't love who she ended up with, but it's just weird, really weird. But it was just very interesting at the end of the day. And I just honestly finished that book and thought, well, this is wild. And I know why some people hated it, and I know why some people loved it, and I know why I fell in the middle, and it's because I just felt like, okay, so that's what it's gonna be. Next is a non-romance I read, which is Bunny by Mona Awad. This is a horror book that I read because Lala over at Books and Lala said it was weird. And I agree. I like half want to just call people Bunny now all the time. So like if you read the book, you'll be like horrified. But this involves a like cult of girls who make sacrifices for things. And they're all like robotic with each other in a weird way. And like they call each other Bunny. And it's just weird. It's a very weird book. I don't know how I feel about the ending still. I don't know how I feel about the book at all, honestly. Like, I didn't know how to rate it, but I did finish it and go, holy crap, wild. So yeah, that was definitely a wild read of the year outside of the romance genre. All right, and then the last book, which I think is definitely my wildest book of the year, which you can't even bring up to me without me saying one word, and that book is Skeleton King by Charity B. Do not read this book. You're going to hear me talk about this book right now, and I'm going to tell you right now, don't read this book. If you read this book, do not tag me and be mad at me that you read this book. I told you not to read it. Like, I flat out have told y'all not to read it. It is the most disgusting book I've ever read in my life. There's a whole reading vlog with me reacting to it. It's the Halloween one. Y'all, I couldn't look away, but it was a train wreck. It was a Nightmare Before Christmas retelling slash reimagining situation in which our hero Jack digs up dead bodies to do things with. That's right, necrophilia. And then he calls it doughy. He says that they feel doughy. Yeah, it's ruined me. I am so grossed out by this book. Anyways, our heroine, Sally, I think her name is actually Sally in this book, goes through a lot of traumatic events, honestly, and it's just sad. Like, she's raped, she's witness to a murder, gets blood on her, like tortured, like body parts cut off and reattached from different bodies, and I'm just like, ugh, yuh, yikes. I don't think this is what anyone had in mind with a Nightmare Before Christmas reimagining situation, because sure not what I had in mind. And then the end of what their HEA is just like so banana pants bonkers, and it makes no sense to me at all. Oh, she also has like a forced hysterectomy, so just know that going in. Like, there's a lot wrong with this book. Again, don't read it. I say that, know that, don't read this book. This is definitely the wildest book of the year. And yeah, I don't know that I'll ever read a book by Charity B again. Honestly, like, and I'm here for some dark and some taboo things, but I have limits, and this book was one of those limits. Limits I didn't know I needed to specify, let me put it that way. Maybe if you like horror erotica situation, you might like this, but I honestly don't know anyone I would rec this book to ever. So yeah, that was all of my wildest books of 2020. Let me know your wildest book in the comments, or drop a skull emoji, because I'm dead after this. I can't believe I read these books this year, some of them. So skull emoji if you want, or tell me your wildest books. And yeah, links to all these books will be in the description box if you're really that curious. Again, I mean, some of them I do recommend, so it's not like all bad. You also can find links to all of my social medias in the description box, which is Goodreads, Instagram, and Twitter. You'll find a link to the Romance YouTubers Discord down there, and the Immortals After Dark read-along Discord down there if you want to join us in January for that. Yeah, y'all have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know.